Hello and welcome to Sacred Wellness. I am your host, Terry Ann Russell. And each week we dive into what it means to rise from deep challenges and reclaim our wellness, mind, body, soul, and purpose. Today's topic is conscious communication for the modern couple. And my guest today is none other than my husband, Tim Russell.
Ooh,
That was a flash of light, wasn't it?
must be somebody else who was.
Must be my dad or aunt. Sorry, we got sidetracked. That happens.
Happens a lot,
It
especially
happens,
with me.
it happens a lot with us. I want to first talk about a little bit about why conscious communication matters and the importance of it. So in today's busy and hectic world, we're all running and going most of the time. We have a lot of distractions, and it can be really easy to be pulled out of your physical relationship. Conscious communication builds trust and it strengthens intimacy. It also fosters a deep connection with a lot less misunderstandings. And I know that I would love that in my relationships. What about you?
Yeah, whatever she said.
For sure, right? You would like to have a lot less misunderstandings, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
Now let's talk a little bit about some things that go on in our relationship first, and then we'll dive a little deeper in.
But we're not experts, just two humans messing up and trying again. And this week I've been practicing my communication skills with my favorite cat, Luna.
And how's that going?
She's a lot like you.
She doesn't listen.
No.
She does what she wants.
Yeah,
And she says "Psh," when she's done.
yeah, happens a lot.
So can you share a little bit, maybe a quick example of a funny communication that we had, a misfire or a misunderstanding recently? What happened?
Recently we decided to change our homeowners and car insurance provider because of we bought Sophia a car, and for some reason with the current provider, it was very expensive for just that one car. So we changed everything to a new provider, and I didn't think to tell Terry when she was calling the old insurance company to have the homeowners give us 30 days on the homeowners insurance. So we ended up getting a lapse, which cost us over $300 extra.
So we thought we were saving money, but alas, we did not.
And that's just my fault for not communicating that to her. Obviously, I didn't get mad at, but I can only get mad at myself for that one.
Right, but I think that's what we're talking a little bit about today. And really conscious communication begins with yourself first, right? So because of that, we had this lack of communication. I didn't know about when the homeowners was gonna lapse. And so it ended up costing us extra money. But the communication really, first and foremost, is with yourself. And so I want to start with that today because I think if you learn to have more conscious communication with yourself, and you sort of set that up from the beginning, right? It all starts within. We always talk about this on this channel. It starts within and then it filters to the outside world. So the more conscious we are within, and if we're less rushing and less just doing or to get it done, right? Because everybody has their to-do list. We all live in a human world, and there's always things going on that pull us out of our higher self or our spirituality. And so when that happens, if we're conscious within our own communications with ourselves, we can sort of be more conscious with others. I think a big part of that is self-honesty and self-reflection. Self-honesty, right? You have to look at those pieces of yourself that maybe might trigger you a little bit about what it is about you, right? So you know that sometimes you get ahead of yourself and you're too rushed, and so you didn't.
Yes, I'm not good with being rushed. I like to think things through. Sometimes I'm a little too slow for this one.
And I'm much more the opposite. My brain works a lot different. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. But self-honesty and self-reflection. So noticing your true emotions before sharing them with somebody else. So you're looking at this situation that we had and had Tim talk to himself and really, laid it out for what he would have noticed. Oh, hey, I have to tell her about the homeowners too. And yeah, an honest mistake that ended up costing us money. And it didn't really create a rift other than we were both like, had we done this prior, it would have been a lot better. And so that misunderstanding creates that sometimes tension. And, that was obviously a small one, but there have been bigger ones. But I think if you take a few moments to ask yourself, in this conversation, what do I feel and what do I actually need? And what am I communicating? Sometimes it just takes that few minutes, especially for you, to sort of mold it, I guess. Is that how you would word
I'm
it?
analytical. I have to think about all the repercussions. I'm like when you're doing something to fix something, I have to think through it 2 or 3 times before I physically do it, just to make sure. I don't like to do it twice.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about where self-awareness helped prevent conflict, like in this car insurance incidents. You were planning a trip. Do you remember that?
Yeah, a few of them.
And you were planning the trip and you didn't make sure that I was available that weekend or that we had something to do other than that weekend. And so sometimes,
Your calendar's a lot fuller than mine.
yes, and you take it for granted, right? Oh, she'll just be
Sometimes,
there.
yeah.
So in an instance like that, if that happens, you have to really be honest with yourself, right? He would not want me to come to him on a Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, and say, hey, by the way, we're going away this weekend. I wanted to surprise you, when he has to work.
Right. A
So
small one would be, I made an appointment with a bank 5 days after your up and coming surgery, without thinking that you may not even be able to walk,
mhm.
let alone go to the bank. But luckily, the bank said she doesn't have to be there for it.
Right. So really taking into account whether you're being honest with yourself and what you would want in those situations.
Most of the time when somebody wants to plan something with us as a couple, I will usually tell them I have to speak with the boss and I'll get back to them.
And he says the boss out of love, because I'm really not the boss
It's a respect.
when it comes down to it. It's a mutual understanding, I think, that we have, especially in a world like we have today with this hecticness that we have going on, right?
Oh, nice of me to say.
We're all going and usually running. And we are no different, because we live in a human world. And it's really about what I bring first and foremost through this channel is about finding that balance between the human and the spiritual, between the conscious and the subconscious, right?
Mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about sometimes when we get into that midst of a misunderstanding and what it's bringing up for you. For me, I like to really pause, because I know that me personally, I can go off the handle very quickly if I'm provoked.
Mhm.
Most of the time I'm in my calm and you can't pull me out, but once in a while, and that's because I do these practices, but once in a while I may not do this practice and I can be pulled out very quickly. So for me, what I like to do often is, especially if we're in the midst of an understanding, is really take a couple of deep breaths.
Are you saying understanding or misunderstanding?
Misunderstandings. Did I say
You did say
understandings?
understanding. I was like,
Well, now, see
I guess you
that?
could have to do that as well with
That's a
understanding.
misunderstanding.
Yeah.
You'll have to excuse us. Often when we get together, we have a lot of playful banter and we lose focus. And I think that's part of our relationship, because he's like that generally. So he pulls me out of my very seriousness and my type A personality to sort of let it all flow. But what I was saying is, if we have a misunderstanding, I like to sort of take a couple of deep breaths in and really focus in on myself, what I'm feeling and what I need in that moment. And that gives me the ability, rather than to attack, but to really say and be able to verbalize, this is what I need. This is what I want. I know we had a misunderstanding and you may not think it's a big deal, but to me, it's a big deal. And then my feelings are valid, because I'm feeling this. I'm asking him, not whether he's right or wrong, because if he gets to the defensive aspect, then a fight ensues. And it's not attacking him. It's simply telling him, this is what I'm feeling right now, and this is what I need, and vice
I've had
versa.
to learn to acknowledge what she needs and what she's feeling.
And vice versa, because I think I am pretty well at catching how you're feeling before he even walks in the door. So I think that's important to say. We're going to talk about that next, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But the importance of really connecting and cleansing. So Tim, you want to share a couple of your personal cleansing styles? What do you do to cleanse?
Well, I spend a lot of time in a CDL type truck for work. And I deal with a lot of negative uh, things with just people driving around me. So obviously, I try to clear myself before I get home of any negativeness. And Terry's taught me, you know, clear off the bad energy until it's not welcome. And so I try to do that every day after when I'm leaving work. Um, what else do I do for cleansing styles? Just me separately, I guess it's mainly just that.
Mhm.
Reading, meditating, that all helps to get my mind in the right place so I don't bring negative things with me, especially when I come home from work, because I can sometimes bring negative stuff from work.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, Rafe. So everybody goes on about their day, they're separate, they live their separate lives, and you come back into this relationship. And if it's unconscious, you can get caught up in all the chaos that you've been in. But when you're a conscious couple, and in today's world, there is a lot of chaos and there's a lot going around to distract us all the time. So, especially when you come home and you're first again meeting for the day, I like to, again, like you said, clear everything from our day and then take some deep breaths in, focus,
Yes.
put your phones down, because that's the first way, disconnect from the outside world, and then not bombard each other with this went wrong, that went wrong, this happened, the kids need this.
We
And
generally meet with a kiss.
Mhm.
And how was your day?
And
I
that sort
missed
of,
you.
yeah, that sort of grounds us into um, our reality then, that we're back now together. And it's not about necessarily catching up, like this happened at work and that happened at work and and so it's about really grounding into the moment now. And yeah, we're able to share that later, but in a much more conscious way, if you will. I think a big thing for us as a couple, and I know a lot of couples that I've talked to experience this, is active listening without the needing to fix. And so I think that's a big one for the both of us, because in our relationship, if I'm upset, right, you would want to fix it. And if you're upset, I want to fix it. And
Yeah.
so,
I've learned that I need to be a better listener and more understanding that, and knowing that I can't always fix it, but that I have to show that I understand what you're feeling and communicate that.
right, an example of that may be like when I was working as a parent educator and coming home stressed and crying every
Oh,
day
gosh,
from
yeah.
working with schizophrenics. And it was a very high stress job. And he felt the need to fix it. And he didn't understand, I guess, that in my own time, I had to come to the realization that even though I wanted to help so badly, this was not the position for me to be in. So for him as to wanting to fix it, his deal was just quit. And that's not the kind of person that I am. So it took me a lot longer to process that needing to quit more than it did for him, because he didn't like seeing me upset. So we have differences in how we are, who we are, how we were raised. And we talked about that on our last show. And I got a lot of really interesting feedback, good feedback about often we come from different upbringings.
Oh, for sure.
And now we come together in this relationship and we expect it to be sort of similar in the way that we were raised. And it's not, right? Usually, because also we're very opposite, we were raised very differently. And so those upbringings have affected who we are. Our past relationships have affected who we are. And we bring all that to the table when we come to a new relationship. And in the process of that, you have to really learn to
Mesh them together.
what does that look like for you?
Mhm.
And it won't look the same for everybody, right? We're not saying that our way is the right way or what we do works. On my channel, we really try to share different different perspectives about what you can do, and not everything works for everybody. So maybe deep breaths don't work for you. Maybe you need that time to sort of go out and run on a jog. Maybe that's something that you would need. That's not what I want to do personally, but that may be what you need. And so that's why I like that we're able to sit here and share with you guys today.
You're not gonna get it right every time.
Right.
You got a trial and you do, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Everything's a trial basis. You're not gonna get it right the first time. What works for you as a couple.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about, because this topic came up on my show last week. I had this great guest, Anthony, just happens to be his name. He's from the UK, but we talked about neurodivergent people and neurotypical people. And when you look at us, we are very neurotypical and neurodivergent. Although I do have some neurodivergent tendencies. Yes,
Neurodivergent? I might agree a little ADD.
ADHD? No, I don't
No,
think
I'm not
you're
hyper. I'm
no.
definitely pretty laid back. The Southern thing, laid back.
That would be my ex-husband, ADHD.
Oh yeah, he was.
You're more ADD.
Yeah.
So attention deficit disorder. And I'm more neurotypical. So I see the things that a typical person would see, the way the world works. And Tim's brain works very differently than mine. And it's also based on, your experiences, how much gray matter you have, how much inner work you've done. And so the more that you learn to focus in, right? And you learn to accept what you have. Because I do get aggravated. I'll be the first one to tell you I get aggravated. I'm like that. Because he does things a lot slower than I do them. And because we're a couple, often it creates some tension between us. And I have to sometimes, step back. He doesn't understand it probably, but there's a lot of times I don't say anything.
No, I know that she doesn't.
There's a lot of times I let it go.
Our parenting methods were definitely very different. Like she said, I have to think how I want to react, whereas as soon as it happens, she's already right on the child, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not caught up. So, but it works now, and she's changed as well. She's let up on it and let me do my thing, and
in your own time.
I'm a little slow at it, but I get it across.
I'm just like, get it out, get to the point.
Like if a daughter now comes home from Goodwill with a crop top, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, because I see it right away, then I react. No, that sure doesn't leave the house.
And what does she say?
She pulls her pants up. See, that's not a crop top.
She thinks she's smarter. So let's talk a little bit about where true love meets self-love. And I think this is two that are really intertwined. Self-love is really the foundation for conscious communication within yourself. True love is really about that love you feel for one another in your relationships. Growing up, I was raised very self-sacrificing. So I raised my older children in a different way. And I sort of had a lot of practice before Tim came into the picture with his daughter, who was also a lot younger than my sons, but then we had his daughter and my daughter. So I sort of had a lot of experience about being an unhealed parent. And at that time, I really did a lot of self-sacrificing and a lot of people pleasing and a lot of allowing my cup to be fully drained before I could really step into the role of saying no. Today, and even as long as we've been together, probably, I've lived a different life. It's like I'm two totally different people now, because I understand the importance of what it means to live from a full cup. And the more that I fill my cup, the more that I'm a better mom, a better wife, a better daughter, a better sister from my family. But when we learn to fill our own cups and in our own time, our partnerships thrive, because we're able to communicate that, hey, this is what I need today. And your partner can sort of now look at that and say, okay, well, she's done everything this way before, but now she's not doing it anymore. And I think that's what usually causes a lot of tension in a relationship. Would you agree?
Yes,
Mhm. As two people change, they become different people.
right. We've definitely changed. I've learned a lot from her, and I think she says she's slowed down a lot from me.
Yeah, and so it is about that balance, right? We're creating that balance. We're two totally different people with totally different ideals and beliefs. And mine before was very much go, go, go. And his was very much slow, slow, slow. And so coming together to meet in the middle, it's created that time for balance. I want to talk a little bit about self-reflection, self-love reflection. Talk a little bit about how in our relationship, we sort of came to a point where we learned about more supporting one another versus being in our own feelings.
Well, we're talking about first, if you're talking about self-love,
Mhm.
in my opinion, if you don't have a strong feeling about yourself, or if you're negative about yourself, then you portray negativity on everybody else around you, especially your partner. So you gotta try to work on yourself first, which will keep your partnership relationship a lot better.
Because if you look at some of the negative beliefs, like I don't trust people. If you have a negative belief where you don't trust people and you're in a relationship, do you really trust your partner?
Mhm.
Or you've had instances in your life where you don't trust people. That creates this belief that you don't trust people. And so how can you have an intimate, conscious relationship with somebody you don't trust?
Right.
And so that negative belief is always behind you in the background, like a program, and it's programming you. Oh, well, he said that, don't trust him, or he did that, you shouldn't trust him.
Mhm.
And that's the kind of
Based on
negativity.
past
Mhm.
experiences, yeah,
And that's the kind of negativity you're talking about.
yes,
Or self-negativity, right? Where, oh, you don't do anything right. If you think about yourself that you don't do anything right, then are you going to think that your partner does anything right?
right,
Chances are no. So being in a conscious relationship is about creating that space within yourself to understand what you need to work on and the inner work that you need to do so that you can create that and have a conscious relationship.
it's hard to make your life perfect, obviously, but we all have faults and problems. Terry's always reminded me, that obviously what's the word? I guess I should say, I wouldn't say we're wealthy, but we have to learn that we can always work within our means and not to let things get us down. Sometimes I get a little nervous about things, and she tells me, the universe will provide, we'll be fine. And I have to let loose, and it always works out. She's right.
Say that again.
She's always right.
She's always right. Did you hear that? Everyone heard that today on the show. She's always right.
That's the key to a successful relationship.
I'm gonna
She's
get
always
you that
right.
shirt that says, "My wife knows more than Google. She's always right."
Right. My wife says it, it's right.
I want to talk a little bit about a self-reflection practice that we do because I think it's really powerful. And you can put your hands on your heart now if you want to close your eyes and take a few moments with me. Just take a couple of deep breaths in and out, and up and down. Feel your heart, and feel your heart doing the breathing for you. Once you're focused in on your heartbeat, I want you to repeat these affirmations. I am enough. I am worthy of love. I love myself. I love my life. I love each and every piece of me. And feel how you react to that. When you're doing that, feel if there's any resistance that comes up when you say that.
Made me feel good.
it may make you feel good, right?
Mhm.
In the beginning, sometimes it may be hard for us to believe that we're worthy of that love. You know, in the beginning, after my divorce, I had a really difficult time and I was self-sabotaging. And I would date really great guys, but I would always find something that was wrong with them because I didn't feel worthy enough.
That you finally settled.
And I didn't settle. I worked on myself and I found that I was self-sabotaging. So when I met Tim and I was able to see what those patterns were in myself, and I hit the jackpot. The crazy jackpot. No, I hit
Everybody
that.
needs a little crazy.
They do. And you've taught me that. You've taught me we all need a little crazy in our life. And I think I've taught you that to sort of loosen up too, because you can be very
Yeah.
serious or tight. And I think that's how our relationship works. But what's another thing we do to connect?
The salt baths. Did
We
you
do
speak
salt
about
bath.
that?
No, go ahead.
Salt baths. We do the eye gazing, which was kind of what we were doing with our hands on our hearts, looking at each other's eyes, but your hand on their heart, and vice versa.
That's really a deep, deep, deep practice that we do. I think we try to do it once a week in the bath so that we connect on a deeper level. It's just feeling, his heart and my heart together and how to really set the tone for the week, right?
Mhm.
What else?
Meditation. We always put our phones down half hour to an hour before bedtime and do some meditation. She's taught me Reiki, so we do Reiki on each other. She's just recently we've started doing Hue chants to help us to focus on our dreams better at night and write down our dreams if we remember. Like I had an odd one this morning. What did I tell you it was? A flying car. I don't know what that means. And it was like one of my very first cars, a Volkswagen Scirocco. And it was convertible, which is they're not convertible and they don't fly.
I would hope not.
No.
Maybe
But
it was
unusual.
a future life or a parallel life dream,
Mhm.
because in our dreams we go to many different places.
Yeah. That was an unusual one.
Mhm. So there's a lot of practices that you can do. You can journal, you can do meditations together. I think the art of conscious communication for the modern couple is really finding what works for you. I just saw a couple recently I read about, and they go away the beginning of the year and they only allow themselves 3 days away together with no interruptions, no phones, no anything. And they plan what they want, goals that year for each of them, goals together, trips they want to take and things they want to do with their families, books they want to read, you know, and they really take that time to connect. And so they look at one another's wishes and wants and needs. And so they take that time. I thought that was really powerful to do.
Yeah.
I'd like to add that.
I guess that's gonna be it.
If you enjoyed watching our show today, please share, review, like, and subscribe it for us. We're really learning to come out. The both of us have really grown a lot this year together and separately. And so our process and our goals, one of the goals this year, we'll be talking more about conscious relationships. And I think as we move towards the Great Awakening, that you're going to need a lot of people that are like us that help support you in not only yourself, what yourself as you as a human needs, but also what your relationships need. So I thank you for joining us, and remember to love yourselves and love each other consciously. Anything you want to add?
No, she's perfect. She's always right. Thank you.
She's always right.
See, it makes her laugh and she's happy.
Yes.
So we'll have a good day.